Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have a lot of things in the news today. Everything from a potential longshoreman strike that could affect cruises starting on October 1st up and down the East and Gulf Coast. Hey, if you're going to say something to Captain Kate, especially about crew members, you're going to expect her to come back at you. We also have Princess Cruise Line increasing the price of bottled water. We have a couple that did something on a balcony at a time that you should definitely not be doing something on your balcony. And finally, we have a fellow YouTuber who had their mini Starlink satellite confiscated from them. And we'll have some comments on that. First off, let's talk about the potential longshoreman strike. It will affect 85,000 longshore workers up and down the East Coast as well as the Gulf Coast. It will potentially shut down all work pretty much in these cruise ports. Now, the cruise lines have come out and talked with the union, etc., and say it's probably not going to affect cruise lines too much. Mostly it will affect cargo, which of course will affect prices and availability of things. And they can go on strike as early as October 1st. Right now, the negotiations had broken down. It's coming up to the deadline, and the union has voted that they are, the union members said, yeah, we're ready to go on strike. And the government has already come in and said they were not going to use any act to legislate the workers back to work. Again, this is 85,000 longshoremen, and we know how many goods come in by container ships and everything into the United States. So it could affect a lot of us. Cruise lines not so much at the beginning. However, if it's a longer strike, the availability of some items may become short, and that might start affecting your cruise as well. Any cruise leaving from the United States. Let's hope everybody works it out and they negotiate a fair deal for everybody involved. Next, let's talk about Princess Cruise Lines. I'm about to go on the Sun Princess and just found out they raised the price of water, bottled water on board, not just a little bit. As early as September 7th, you could get bottled water for about $7 for the case. Well, that price is now $24. Yeah, that's a hefty increase. It works out to about $2 a bottle, which is the going rate on board when you're there. So you're really not saving any money if you order your water ahead of time, which is normally the deal that you're looking for, right? You order bottled water, you order a case of pop to your stateroom. It's cheaper than getting it from the ship itself normally when you buy it ahead of time. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case going forward, but it is another reason for us to purchase the old Princess Plus and the Princess Premier package, as Princess seems to be pushing those towards most guests, and I think most guests are getting those packages with them because it contains gratuities, it contains the drink package, and it works out to a better deal. It also includes soda as well as bottled water in those packages, which means the price going up doesn't affect us at all if you have Princess Plus or Princess Premier. Keep that in mind when you're booking your next cruise. Next, let's talk about a couple that did something during, believe it or not, a ribbon cutting ceremony for the Explora 2. She was in Rome having her ceremony. The ribbon cutting happened. There's a ton of people in port. And one couple decided to walk out on their balcony nude. Not only did they walk out on their balcony nude, they proceeded to think, you know what, let's get a little amorous and a little frisky up on the balcony as well, in clear view of hundreds of people. MSC is looking into the incident, and this couple may end up finding a notice or an email soon saying, yeah, you're now banned from the cruise line. I guess if you got it flaunted, I guess. I don't know. But those balconies were clear as day, and when you're in port, is probably the worst time to think that you're going to get not away with things and not be filmed. I guess they just didn't care. Next, we also have a fellow YouTuber out there. He has a YouTube channel, No Pants Profit. His name is Richard Shillington, and he brought on his Carnival cruise, because he's going to be in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, he was worried about connectivity and the Wi-Fi, etc. He wants to be able to broadcast on the ship, so he brought his Starlink Mini, which he said he cost him about close to $600, plus about $250 for the service for a month over the ocean. Well, he did a broadcast, and the first thing he showed everybody was the difference between the premium package on Carnival. He was on the Carnival Miracle, and he said he was getting download speeds of about 4 Mbps, which is pretty darn slow considering the Carnival Miracle has Starlink on it, and it's supposed to have speeds in the range of 100 Mbps for a passenger, especially with the premium package. Well, he hooked up his Starlink in the exact same location, his mini-link, and he was getting 123 Mbps. Well, that's a 30 times difference in speed. And if you make a living on the internet like myself and Richard does, that's all the difference in the world when you're on your cruise. That's the difference between spending an hour doing work and uploading in your stateroom and doing 12 hours in your room waiting for things to edit, waiting for things to go through the video streaming service and uploads, etc. Huge difference. And well, after he posted his video, he got requested to go down to the hotel directors, and yeah, they confiscated his Mini. And he did a follow-up post saying that, he wasn't quite sure on the prohibited items because, and you're splitting hairs here, Richard. I like this. That on the prohibited item list, it said, you're not allowed to bring on satellite discs. Well, since having this video go up, and they've now corrected that spelling mistake, and it now says on the restrictive list, satellite dishes are not allowed. I don't know what a satellite disc is, but apparently Richard was hoping that it would not. And he did get good speed. And I've often thought about doing that myself, but I had a feeling the cruise lines wouldn't allow it, especially when they're charging us those prices to use the internet and Wi-Fi services on board. They don't want everyone bringing their own satellite systems in and hooking up. Also, what might that do to the systems on board the ship? Not sure. I'm not an engineer. I'm not good with that stuff as far as that's concerned. I don't know what kind of effects it might have on the ship. So there's probably a very good reason why we can't all bring our own little mini-link satellites onto a cruise ship. But I thought that was a nice try by Richard. Good try, Richard. I've often thought of trying to do it myself. And finally, if you're going to say something to Captain Kate, she usually takes it in stride, whether it's criticism or not. But one thing she doesn't like is when you start talking about crew members. And she's going to come back at you, my friend. She's going to come back hard. And apparently she did a Facebook post where she was showing some tips, where the gratuities, she gave it a $5 tip to a crew member, and he reacted to the $5 tip. And somebody commented on the video saying that the way he reacted, I thought he received a $100 bill, and then to find out it was only $5. I feel he only reacted that way because you're the captain. And it's kind of sad, the post read. Well, Captain Kate went back, and he basically, she said the difference, in reality between entitlement and privilege is gratitude, which is a pretty good comeback. It's not her quote, it's somebody else's, but she also talked to the crew member and asked, in your country where you come from, are you the sole breadwinner of the family. And he said, yes, he supports his entire family from his job on the cruise ship. And she said, well, what would $5 get you in your country, in India? And he said, well, for $5, I could buy 2 shirts, or I could buy 2 crates of sugar, or I could buy 3 crates of potatoes. You notice how he didn't say bags? Because if I was to ask you, hey, go down to the store and pick me up some potatoes, you would instantly think 5-pound bag, 3-pound bag, 10-pound bag of potatoes. They think crates, because that's what they buy their food in India a lot of the times at the markets. Well, $5, a single tip, is enough to get 3 crates of potatoes for his family that would last how long? And so it does just go to show you that $5 in the United States, in Canada, in the UK might not seem like a huge tip. But for other countries, it can feed a family, an entire family. And so maybe we have to keep that in mind when we are tipping. And sometimes you see something and you say, oh, that's fake because that person is just doing it for the video, or just doing it because it's a captain of the ship or somebody of influence. And in reality, the person could just be very grateful. And maybe we should just accept that. So, but yeah, if you're gonna come back Captain Kate about her crew members, she's gonna come back at you, and probably rightfully so. Well, let me know in the comments down below. Are you a little worried about the Longshoreman potential strike in October? I am, because how many times after the pandemic did you hear that prices have gone up because of supply chain issues? Now imagine all the cruise ports along the East Coast shut down. What kind of supply issues will we have then? Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.